Give it a few minutes, let some people get in.
Where is everyone?
Don't know. Nobody knows where we're at anymore because of what a certain platform done to us. We're live on both right now. I
Yep.
haven't seen half of our original people that we used to have that was for daily, and since all that happened.
Mm-hmm. Oh, there's Linda. Howdy, Linda.
Number of U.S. home buyers has fell to the lowest level ever recorded, worse than 2008 and 1929. But the economy is fine, right? Yeah, you heard that right. Worse than 1929.
Glad you found us, Linda.
The number of U.S. homebuyers has fell to the lowest level ever recorded, even worse than 1929, folks. It's just not in America either. And people are wondering why birth rates are collapsing because you can't afford to have kids. You can't. You can't afford it. You can barely sustain yourself, especially if you're living by yourself and don't have two incomes coming in. It's almost undoable.
Well, housing prices are just out of sight now.
Apartments are $1,000, $1,200 a month,
At least.
and people out here making $400 to $500 a week.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're working 2 weeks just to pay to lay your head for a month in a house. That's not including electric, water, insurance, taxes, your car,
Mm-hmm.
gas, food. It, it
Utilities.
it's undoable.
Hey, Nutball, good to see you.
We're going to come to a point here very soon where people's just going to throw their hands up and give up.
A
And I'm
lot already
surprised.
are.
Yeah, a lot of them are, but I'm surprised we're not seeing mass, I guess, mass people doing this.
I was listening to a story the other day. You know what one of the most lucrative jobs is right now in the United States? It's work from home on the telephone as a debt collector.
Yep,
Work for a debt collector company.
yep.
They are just crying for people to come work for them on the phone.
This economy is just straight up, absolutely just destroying what I do. Nobody can afford. Went and priced a pine tree that had been uprooted and leaned up into a pecan tree. And
Hey, Matt.
I told the
How you
guy,
doing?
it, "Hey, a minute, we got an EM coming in. Let's listen to this, and then I'll tell you the story on this one."
Message 55 characters.
55 character EAM.
Kilo 7 Sierra 2 Tango 4 November Echo Delta 7, Hotel, Alpha, Uniform, Charlie, Delta, Bravo, Sierra, 3, Oscar, Charlie, Bravo, Sierra, 3, X-ray, 7, Delta, Oscar, Delta, 4, Alpha, 4, Sierra, 6, 7, Foxtrot, 4, 6, Victor, Hotel, Mike, Delta, Oscar, 7, 4, Alpha, 4, Sierra, 6, 7, Foxtrot, 4, 6, Victor, Hotel, Whiskey, I said again, Kilo, 7, Sierra, 2, Tango, 4, November, Echo, Delta, 7, Hotel, Alpha, Uniform, Charlie, Delta, Bravo, Sierra, 3, Oscar, Charlie, Bravo, Sierra, 3, X-ray, 7, Delta, Oscar, Echo, 4, Alpha, 4, Sierra, 6, 7, Foxtrot, 4, 6, Victor, Hotel, Mike, Delta, Oscar, 7, 4, Alpha, 4, Sierra, 6, 7, Foxtrot, 4, 6, Victor, Hotel, Whiskey. This completes message of 55 characters. This is on team out.
Wow, folks, check out this video right here of up in Indianapolis. I'm going to post a link to it. This is flooding up there. The Indianapolis mayor is urging residents to evacuate Ravenswoods, Rocky Ripple, and other areas amid severe flooding, the worst in at least 30 years. These areas are becoming a lake. It's washing out roadways. Goodness gracious. This 2-lane road right here. It's just gone. That is wild. Here, I'll do this right here.
I couldn't see the videos on my end.
Check out this video right here, folks. Look at this. Yeah, that's all water.
That's in Indianapolis?
Yeah.
Indianapolis.
Look at that.
Yeah,
There's a gas pipeline right there at Orange Pop. That's
I think I know where that thing is taken at. I recognize that iron gate or iron fencing there.
Yep.
That's close to downtown, isn't it?
I think so.
Yeah,
there
Rocky
you go.
Ripple. Yep.
Iran believes a new round of fighting with the U.S. is inevitable and has now decided to focus all efforts on preparing for battle instead of diplomacy. But anyway, what I was getting at a minute ago about the economy around here, I went and priced a tree. It was leaned up into a pecan tree beside a house. I was going to have to climb the pecan. and I was going to have to tie the top out, go down, snip the tree in half, and then lower the rest of the top down. It was going to take me about 3 hours, and I was going to have to pay someone to help me. I priced it for, well, $650. Oh, that's too much. I've had two people come over here. One of them priced it for $150. The other priced it for $200, but they've never came back. It's just too much. Well,
I told you what a guy was trying to charge me the other day.
Can you do it for $200? I looked at the guy. I said, no. I said, there's no way. I'm not going to bring $20,000 of equipment out here, not including the vehicle, and do this tree for $200. It's just not going to happen. Turn around and left. Let me climb it, piece it down. Time I pay my help, I would have made like $75. It's just, no, it's not worth it. People are about broke. He's like, well, I guess I'm just going to have to get brave enough and climb it. Well, best luck to you. I mean, normally, I would have probably been about $800 to $900 on that. But I was already knocking a little bit off because it was somebody I've done a lot of work for. It's one of his buddies. So I knocked about $200 off of it to begin with.
I told
that's
you,
too much.
Guy came to want to just trim back my locust tree out in the front, and just basic trim, take a few limbs off here and there and stuff, clean up the mess. Take the wood chipper and clean it all up and haul it off. $1,100.
Mm-hmm. But yep, it's just I don't understand. Well, I do know why, but I know the reason why them two other people never showed back up, because they're not going to do it for that. They just agreed with him and went on and said, I'm not coming back over here.
I agree, Nutball. Bartering is going to become a common thing.
But he kind of got a little offensive when I told him my price. I was like, well, it's not my problem that you're going to get offensive. I'm not going to come over here and climb 35 feet up in this tree, 40 feet, and drag out like $600-700 worth of rope to do this. No. Anyway. Well, folks.
That's a dangerous job, man.
I'm going to send this to you, Charlie. I want you to do this one. This is what Hungary's doing to try to get the Danbury River to rise to prevent authorities from another reduction in output from Pax nuclear power plant.
Update. Hungary has begun controlling sink. What's that?
Click on the article there.
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
Okay.
Hungary has begun controlling sinking of two barges in the Danube River, the Park's nuclear plant, as authorities try to prevent another reduction in output. Prime Minister Peter Magyar said the barges had initially been lowered by around 20 centimeters, and that the water at the plant's pumping station had risen about 1 centimeter. This guy Pax, I think it means Parks, remains in roughly 25% of capacity. The intervention is now underway, but it is too early to say whether or not it will rise the Danube enough to protect the plant. This is a nuclear plant, guys.
Yeah.
To protect the plant's remaining operating turbines. Wow.
So they're going to sink 2 barges in the middle of this big Danbury major river,
Danube.
cut off shipping. What's left of a shipping, folks? Something nobody's talking about much. Europe is having major problems with water levels in their rivers. They're wanting to design a new class of shallow, big barges that can operate in very, very shallow water. Their shipping on these rivers are coming to a stop throughout Europe. Stuff, they've never been this low before. Let me see if I can find this article.
That's not good because they depend on that water for cooling in the power plant.
Yeah.
This is Broad Beam. I request you authenticate. Bravo, Juliet, Delta.
Get a net check-in or a net check-out right now.
How copy, over.
Let me see if I can't find this here. I'm not seeing it right now, but they was... Here you go. I'll send this to you. Europe has been urged to build 1,000 shallow water ships. Check that out.
These are shallow water ships, huh?
They're because their rivers are getting so low. They're having to redesign their ships to be able to transit these shallow waterways now.
Broad Beam, I authenticate. Charlie, India.
And these companies are
1,000.
urging
1,000 new shallow water capable vessels all across Europe by 2035. $14.4 billion investment.
6 Zulu. How copy, over.
That's how big of issues they're having over there. I was going to break some beans while we was talking, but hang on a minute. I've got to do some research here a minute. Let's see here. Europe. River's drying up. Here, I'm going to send this one to you. And I'm going to play this video down here. We've got some, hang on a minute. We've got some net traffic here in the background. They're doing something. One of them sounds Indianish. Y'all check this out. This is the river levels. 27 centimeters, 40 centimeters, -7. So it's dry here, basically. 125, 144, 197.
I don't know what's wrong with my YouTube. I can't keep it live.
That's what they're doing. Here it is over in Hungary. -27 centimeters. -43.
Be right back. I gotta get some.
The places are drying up, folks, throughout Europe. Look at this. Over in Bulgaria, even. It's dry. Croatia. Serbia. It's drying out. Um, significant drought drives the Danube River water level supply lower across Europe. Significant drops are reported along stretches of river which flows through 10 European countries as prolonged dry conditions affect one of the continent's most important waterways. Um, what I was I'm not gonna show this video, but I'm gonna post a link to it. When we get over to Rumble here in a little bit, I will be showing this. But that video I just posted a link to is videos of this river, how dry it is. It's just a dry bed. I don't even know how ships are even moving up through here, to be honest with you. Now, what I'm going to post show you right here now, this is something that I haven't talked much about, but come on, YouTube, Twitter. Here is the rivers, the river health. 95% of Europe is in extreme. Europe's rivers are running dry. The Rhine just hit a new record low water level in Cologne, while the Danube has fallen far enough to disrupt nuclear power generation. It's quickly becoming an economic issues. Look at that, folks. Europe is drying out. Now, if you go back about 400 years ago and look what happened. The same exact thing. They're in the Maunder minimum.
Yep. Maunder minimum was about 400 years ago. Yep.
This was going to be worse.
They called that the Little Ice Age.
Yep.
I think. It was the years without a summer.
Well, the Little Ice Age was brung on because of the lead up to the Maunder with that huge volcano that erupted. We basically had a little volcanic winter, the year without the summer there.
There was no crops that could grow.
Nope. I mean, France was told to plant potatoes. Well, France said no potatoes. We gonna plant wheat. We want bread. Well, France lost their wheat crop because it frosted and killed it all. France about starved to death that winter. There was mass starvation. Now, these frost also was in the U.S. And we're fixing to start witnessing these frost over here in the U.S. all the way down into the mid-latitudes like Kentucky. Our crop growing belt up in the Midwest, middle part of the country, you're not going to be able to grow nothing in these areas. And I feel very sorry for the people that don't understand this and don't understand what's coming. You need food. You need preferably a year of food put up, folks. And I'm doing what I can Because with these beans, I mean, beans are better than nothing. And you can go out and
I don't have a year. I
can
got
these.
I easily got 6 months, but not a year. I mean,
You,
I guess in an emergency I could stretch it out, but
you can can these beans. You can go buy a $3 um, bag of bean seed from your farmer's market. The only thing that gets a little expensive is the cans. But you got to look at it this way: once you buy them mason jars are good for the rest of your life. You've got them. It's an investment. They could be used over and over and over again. Now, what I do is I buy these off-brand cannon jar lids. I probably got 5 or 6,000 of them stuck up. I buy them when I have a little extra moolah. The last time I bought these was probably about a year ago. I'll buy just the 250 pack or something off Amazon randomly.
I predict that it's not the biggest problem may not be just food. It's going to be a potable source of water.
Well, yeah, but if you've got wells around you and don't live in the city, you'll be okay. Have a
That's why I've said this
rainwater,
before.
folks.
That's why I've said this before. I'm a big fan of
Let me buddy here
chunky soup.
just a second. Get on Facebook. Go find you somebody that's got these 275 or 250 gallon ICBM totes. Go buy you 2 or 3 of them. You can find them for 30 or 40 bucks a piece sometimes. Run you a gutter down into them. Buy you the fittings and tie 3 or 4 of these together. And you'll have more water than you know what to do with. Go get you 1,000 gallons of them. And if you just use that to wash your dishes, wash clothes about once a month, and boil it to drink, you'll be fine. There'll be enough. But you can't be giving it away. You want to kind of hide it. Best thing to do with this stuff is to put these in, plant you some ivy around them, and make it look like there's nothing there.
My stuff's on shelves that are kind of back in the back part of the garage, and then I
Yeah.
got a row of a bunch of clothes and stuff up in front of it. So if
Well,
I
I'm talking
open
about
my
these
garage door, you can't see it.
ICBM totes for water storage.
Oh, for water. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you was talking about racks of food.
No, I'm talking about the totes, the water totes. If you go get you a couple of them, buy your fittings, tie them together outside, hook your gutter into them, punch you some ivy over them. You want to take some screen door or screen, like your screens in your windows, some of that fabric, fix a filtration device to be able to keep the mosquitoes out of the water and to filter it decently. Get you about 1,000 gallons worth of them and put them up on cinder blocks and plant you some ivy over them behind your house, and you won't have an issue with water supply.
As I've said many times, I'm a big fan of chunky soups.
Mm-hmm.
And, they last years.
Yep.
And it's not the most healthy thing, but I don't care in an emergency. But the thing with these chunky soups is a good source of protein, carbohydrate, and it's got a lot of water in it.
Yep. That's the same way with these beans. You can live off of beans. And it's a really good deterrent to keep people away from you. If you know what I mean. Because you're going to be very gassy. People want to be near you.
They're that way now. I'm not gassy.
But yep. and you can these things. Now, I'm not giving no advice, YouTube. All I'm saying what I do. I've got some of it I canned in 2010 that is still good. It's 16 years ago. Beans, green beans out of your garden. 16 years. It tastes just like they was canned yesterday.
Hey, Greckles, 874. Good to see you here.
But somebody was wanting to discuss this stuff. I noticed the other day. But yep, you need to get on Facebook, you all. And if you don't have the space for 275-gallon totes, go buy you 8 or 9 of these 55-gallon drums. Line them up and fix you a system between them, a pipe system, to where they stay leveled out and full. But if you buy them 275-gallon totes, you want to paint them black. Put 8 or 9
Nutball says
good.
be sure and put a gas axe in your medical kit.
Yep. Put 8 or 9 really good coats of paint, black paint on them. That keeps algae from growing. Down to the old house, of course, I have a water system set up down there. I need to see about maybe moving it up here. Anybody got any questions that I might be able to help answer? Anybody got any questions?
Hey, Greckles, have you been here before? I don't know that I've seen you here before, unless it's a different name that you have. Glad you're here, though.
Yeah, I don't recognize that name.
She said she had a friend that went on a river cruise on the Danube, and they had to be bused to the next stop because the water was too low.
Yep. Europe is having big issues, folks. Big issues. The U.S. is seeing issues. But we're having the exact opposite issues. We're seeing major flooding. And China is seeing extremely major, I know that makes no sense what I just said, but extremely major flooding. Just extreme amounts of floods. They can't transit the rivers because the rivers are moving too fast. They've got all 9 gates open over there on the Three Gorges Dam. They've flooded everybody out downstream. There's houses just floating around everywhere. China doesn't care about their poor population at all.
We're supposed to be in a big flood watch area right now, but I'm not in a flood-prone area, so it's not going to affect me, but we're right in the middle of it.
Yeah. Something else for you all, if you're looking for a home. If you're looking to move in the channel or something, do not buy anything in low areas. If you are looking at a home, do not buy it in the flat plain area that's off the sides of a river or even creeks. There'll be a flat plain area between that, be kind of like a big valley. Do not buy anything in that area. I beg you not to. Literally, I beg you not to. Please don't. Please don't. And if you are in that area, even if it's never flooded before, it has in the past sometime. You need to get flood insurance. I beg of you to do that. Because if it's in that flat area has been washed out to make it flat. And there wasn't nothing there 400 years ago. And there was probably nothing in your area 200 years ago. You got anything here, Charlie?
No, I can't keep my, and Rumble too. I
Yeah.
can't keep it live.
Yeah, that's a
I keep
normal
hitting
thing
the
for
live
Rumble.
button and it just keeps going, stopping.
That's normal for
I don't know
Rumble.
what's going on.
But YouTube, it's not. It's just there's been a lot of channels, especially like Christian channels and channels that do stuff like we do, been complaining about that. That AI algorithm they've got. Uh, yeah, but it's not going to really be documented, nutball. The amount of floods that I'm talking about, you're going to see. We're going to start seeing these 10,000 year and 100,000 year, once in a 100,000 year floods. China is seeing that right now. And these areas that's drying up is going to start seeing these once in a 100,000 year droughts. Dust Bowl era type of stuff. Many rivers across Europe have even disappeared. There's ships from World War II coming out of the water in these rivers. Bones, skeletons of of ancient animals. Um, this crazy. Here's a video right here, folks. I'm gonna give you a link to it. Check this out. Croatia is on fire. Here, I'll send this to you. Here, Charlie, if you want to read this one. You don't have to read all of that, but we had another major earthquake last night, folks. A 7.7 down in Indonesia. They're saying that we're going to see an 8.0 or bigger next in these areas. It's just, I reckon it has completely just decimated Indonesia down there, folks. I am just waiting for the new Madrid fault to go. We are seeing heightened activity around the new Madrid fault zones.
Man, I hope not. That's where my
Oh,
family lives.
over here in like West Virginia, Eastern Kentucky, I have never seen so many earthquakes as happening over here. They're small, but that points to these shelves moving. Stuff's on the move. And like how Lee explained it better not. These magnetic fields are going out of phase. And it's tugging and pulling on stuff. And expanding. And when it does that, the pressure has to go somewhere. Well, Charlie, every time we went into one of these things, that new mandate has went off. It's a given.
Yeah, Reelfoot Lake and all of that area down there, Cairo in southern Illinois, and Cape Girardeau, all the way up through St. Louis and even into Indiana and Ohio,
Mm-hmm.
felt all that stuff. It caused the Mississippi River during that earthquake to run backwards, and
Yep.
there were what they call sand blows and all kinds of things. It was a
Mm-hmm.
really big deal.
Yep. And it's going to happen again. It's just a matter of when here in the next few years.
And basically, when that happens, uh, all the rivers that go across the Mississippi that divides the east from the west, basically, you're not going to be able to get across it.
Nope. It's going to effectively cut the U.S. off. It's going to cut us in half,
Cut it in half.
basically. And it's going to happen within the next few years. It's a given. It does it every single time we go into one of these things. And this big, huge El Nino that we're having right now,
Super El Nino.
that's because of this GSM and the jet stream changing. That's exactly what it is. Don't let them try to fib to you saying that it is climate change. It is not. Humans account for less than 1% of what's in the atmosphere of carbon. It's a drop in a bucket. These volcanoes that went off here last month has put more carbon and gases in the atmosphere than we have ever done in our existence. Don't let them lie to you. This is natural. This happens. We go through cycles. They're not showing you the complete cycle graphs. They're just showing you from 1950s or whatever to now. Look look backwards. Look back a few hundred years at what's happened. It's a big gimmick to make you pay more taxes. That's all it is.
I've
Now,
never bought into the idea that human activity
what I'm
contributes that much to global warming.
just posted there is
Never.
pictures of a record drought is engulfed 40% of Europe. Instead of rivers, um, the hunger stones are emerging. One of their famine. Yep, the hunger stones are emerging in Europe, folks. 70% of France's mainland is facing water restrictions.
And look at what's happening to Lake Mead.
Yeah, that
I
area will
mean, that
dry
thing is
out.
really, really
We
in bad
just
shape.
we're in the 1030 range now at Lake Mead. There is a YouTube account here that I follow. I don't know the name of it, and I don't know if I can even find it again now. I followed it on the other channel that they've went through and terminated. Um, and I can't access. I followed thousands of different channels of information. I think that's part of the reason why they done what they done. If you ask me. Oh, what is the name of this place? Sin City Outdoors is what it's called. The YouTube channel Sin City SIN City Outdoors. They actually they take you out on Lake Mead in boats and show you around and show you what's happening. It check it out. I'll post their channel here. Tell them that I sent you over there. Go under the comments and say Duramax World News sent us over to check your channel out.
If you guys hear some weird noises in the background, that's my doggies playing.
Also, Charlie, did you know if you invested $10,000 in Beyond Meat 7 years ago, how much would you have now?
Beyond Meat. I don't know what that is.
It's vegan meat.
Beyond Meat is not meat.
It's ground
Yeah.
beef. It's fake.
It's not that synthetic stuff, is it?
Yeah.
No, it's
It-
it's
it's-
vegetables.
Textured protein
Yeah.
stuff.
That's Miss P talking in the background.
Guess how much you would have left if you invested $10,000 into Beyond Meat stock 7 years ago?
I have no idea.
You'd have $20 left today. It's down 99.8%. It's down 99.8% from all-time high.
Wow. Did you ever unload on SpaceX?
Nope.
Yeah, my son didn't either. He still got his.
I'm not going to.
He's the most unloaded.
I don't. I have never sold anything that I've bought. I don't buy stuff to try to make a few bucks on it in the quick run. What I've got is for my retirement. I buy stuff that I know is going to give me good returns and good dividends. I do mess around with some little small stuff, though. But none of my major stuff I've ever sold. Let's see here. Yeah, I'm going to send this to you, Charlie, if you want to check this out. Yeah, you'll go over and check out Sin City Outdoors. Tell them, go in his comments and say Duramax World News Center's over to check you out. Check that out right there. I sent you, Charlie.
7.7, 9 hours and 50 minutes ago. Let's see.
It's earthquakes.
Okay.
10 hours after Indonesia quake.
Yep, 7.7. Or no, that was a 7.7 in Indonesia and a 6.9
Yep.
in Malaysia.
Yep, 2,800 kilometers away in 10 hours.
You ever listen to a guy named Dutch Sense?
Never heard of him.
Yeah, he's another one of these earthquake guys. He claims that he has success in predicting earthquakes based on the cratons and how
Yeah.
they all interact and stuff.
Well,
And
I
he's had
have
some successes.
I've had success by looking at the corona holes on the sun. Looking at the sun. What did the sun just do when these two went off? Look where the corona holes are positioned, or we had a flare. You can about let's pull up space weather here a minute.
I'm looking at it right now. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 numbered spots, but there's really 3 pretty decent sized spots visible right now.
Look what's
There
looking
is a
at us.
geomagnetic storm watch right now.
Look what's looking at us. Look at the corona holes, man. 1, 2, 3. 3 big ones and a bunch of small ones looking at us.
Mm-hmm.
But there is a reason why the earthquakes went off. Is these corona holes. Every time these big ones turn into view, we see a bunch of earthquakes pop off. It's a given. Every single time.
I posted a link so folks could look at those coronal holes.
I'm showing it on stream there.
Oh, okay. Like I said, I can't
Yeah.
keep it live, so I can't see.
We got 100 and sunspot count as 106. Very low. It should be up in the 200s. We don't have no asteroids to worry about. But yep, look at them corona holes, folks. That there is what causes the earthquakes. It ain't the main cause of them, but that is the trigger. We just had a 4.5 earthquake in Chile, and now we've not Chile, but Philippines. We just had a 4.5 Merendo, Philippines.
I just posted another link for y'all. That's the uh, government space weather site.
Yeah, I don't like that one. I like the spaceweather.com. Spaceweather.com. We've got massive wildfires in Belgium that is destroying big green fields of crops. Ah, we've got some intel coming out, folks. Hezbollah units positioned along the front line are preparing to launch their first strikes inside Israel's in the coming hours. They're fixing to.
Yeah, Retro was just talking about that in the Galilee.
Yep, they're fixing to try to invade. Looks like this will be interesting. Folks, they're not interested in peace. I'm sorry, but they're not. This is all a giant plan by the BRICS to tie the United States up over here. I don't know how else to put it. And they're doing just what they have set out to do, folks. Run our equipment in the ground, run us low on our stocks of everything, put morale down to about nothing aboard our ships. And then Russia, aka the BRICS, are going to make their moves in Europe. It's a given. You might as well go and chisel it into a piece of stone at this point. As event that's already happened. You might as well go ahead and chisel it into stone. It's just a matter of a few weeks to a few months here. It's going to be Russia's last big hurrah. It's their last big hooray, folks.
The important thing is, Michael D, just be ready.
Yep. Remember this rule of thumb: 1 is 0, 2 is 1, and 3 is 2. And don't. I showed a video last night of what not to do if we end up in a nuclear scenario. Don't leave your house. Don't. You won't be able to make it to your bug out location. The roads will be completely clogged with other people trying to do the same exact thing. Your best thing is, if you've got a location, to hunker down that's below grade. It's not that hard to dig you one out, folks. Go out and get you some treated 6x6s. Go to your local lawn and garden supply and get you a bunch of cross ties and fix you a little area that you can ride out the fallout. Because if you can successfully ride out the fallout, you've got it made. You'll survive. But if
At
you,
my age, I just hope I'm right below ground zero.
I know what you mean, Charlie. But if you can ride it out, you'll be fine. You want to stay underground for about,
3 days,
depending where you're at. I say double it. Stay down there for 6.
if you can.
I mean, you
The
shouldn't
the
have an
big
issue.
problem is, I mean, most of the people are not going to have the problem with the initial blast wave. The problem is going to be the fallout.
Yep, that's what I was saying.
And breathing sickness.
Get you a solar generator, keep it charged, put you a little small TV down there, have you a solar panel you can pitch outside before it all happens.
Okay, we're
You
gonna be
just
out here by then.
a light bulb, a TV, and some DVDs.
Or a Bible.
Yeah. Entertainment. You need something to pass the time. Gaming console, even. That's if you don't get EMP'd off of the detonation. I'm actually in one of the best areas in the United States to survive one. Well, Michael, I would rather not die a slow, painful death, if you know what I mean, from one of these events, by not having somewhere to at least get down underground for a while. That's fine with these beans right here. You can eat these cold. They're cooked. They're ready to go. And then you also can have some fun underground with your family down there, stinking them out of the hole. You all can have a contest to see who can make it the most stinky. Oh, let's see here. Oh my goodness. Republican official Daniel Brand has been arrested after attempting to solicit a minor online. Interesting. Yeah, I
Jared
got one.
Kushner and Nikolay Mandanov is headed toward Israel right now to try to persuade Netanyahu to pause any strikes and to
Mm-hmm.
stick to the Gaza roadmap.
I got you one I sent you right there. It's about some planes the Department of Homeland Security bought. They spent $464 million of your taxpayer money on 10 used airplanes. But it said it urgently needed for deportation flights. They've only been used for some luxury flights for the FBI director and some other high-ranking officials. The rest of them has been parked. You can read that off there if you don't care there, Charlie. Please. And thank you. Also, have you
Uh,
ate them beans that I sent you home?
yeah, I mean,
How was they?
no problem.
It tastes pretty good.
Green beans. Yeah, green beans.
Yeah.
We ain't.
I just wondered how you enjoyed them.
Yeah, they're better than canned green beans. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm. It's night and day difference, isn't it, from canned
Hmm.
beans? I've put up I'm in my 70 quart range right now since you've been here.
Hmm.
I'm sitting here breaking beans right now off of that little patch of beans out here, Charlie.
Wow.
I picked 5 gallons last night off just one side of one row of them. Yeah, check that out right there, what I sent you, and read it for me if you don't care.
7
Beans.
Boeing 737s have sat idle for months at an airport in Lake Charles, Louisiana. Why? An internal document says that the agency does not have the staff to fly them. Three of the planes are luxury business jets, and one is now leased to the FBI. So Director Kash Patel can travel in style, even though the FBI already has its own jets. Another Gulfstream was reserved for DHS top brass. One of the 737s got repainted in the color scheme of Trump's new Air Force One. They used a no bid contract, claiming unusual and compelling urgency, an exemption normally reserved for war and natural disasters. That's crazy.
Yeah.
The lucky winner was Daedalus Aviation, a firm that had never held a federal contract before, whose chairman had donated to a political committee tied to then Secretary Kristi Noem.
Oh, imagine
The
that.
contract grew $303 million the very
Interesting.
day her successor was sworn in.
Interesting how that works, isn't it?
Hmm.
Them no bid contracts.
But no bid, yeah,
Yeah.
that's not right.
No, it's not. And
That's what
it's
they done on.
always it's funny how they've
And they
always,
don't
the
get
ones that get it
pointy.
has donated to somebody. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Almost like, hey, you donate this to me, and we'll get you a contract here, and you can make back what you donated to me plus some, type of deal. If you see where I'm going with that,
Hmm.
because they probably, it's cost us more than it, oh, I'm trying to explain this in a way uh, that no big contract probably added what they had donated back on top of everything. If you see why I'm trying to take this, but anyway, oh, let's see here. Oh, PBS is in a pickle. They had 50 terabytes of programming archives spanning 70 years of television history stored through a firm. And the provider has apparently went out of business. And all of 70 years of television history has 50 terabytes has went bye bye. It's vanished.
50
Now,
terabytes from where?
they had 50 terabytes of programming and archives spanning 70 years of television history stored.
Where where was that at?
Um, it's the PBS here.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
PBS and CBS. Okay.
yeah. I'll send this to you. This is the article. Please tell me why they're paying to have 50 terabytes of data stored somewhere. Do you know that if I wanted to, I could put 50 terabytes of storage in my computer right here very easily? It's not that big of an area. I mean, that's if you get 5 terabyte hard drives, that's 10 hard drives. You can stick them up on a shelf somewhere. I
I've heard
don't
it said that
understand.
I heard it said that 30 terabytes could contain the whole National Archives.
Yeah, I just don't understand why PBS would be paying somebody.
I mean, you can buy a 30 terabyte
Yeah,
solid state drive
yeah.
right now for just a few $100s.
It's a lot more than that right now because of the AI thing.
No, I've seen some advertisements. It's just like $300 or something like that.
I've been looking at expanding so that way I can all these videos that we do and stuff instead of having to delete them as I put them up. Well, I could fix an archive to where if something was to happen to the channel, I could go back and just flash a new channel with everything. See what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Because I lost so much stuff.
It just depends on how fast you want
And
it.
I
Here's a
think,
Seagate 20 terabyte drive for 600,
yeah,
but it's fast.
I think that should be illegal for them to not at least give you a master download key for a channel. You know what I mean, Charlie?
Hmm.
All of your archives, all your videos and stuff, our entire everything that we had on that channel is gone. I have no way of even retrieving any of it. Now, I should at least be able to get a key to go in and download all my stuff.
I wonder how many terabytes is in the cloud right
It's
now.
untelling. But I'm still aggravated very badly over losing all my videos that I had spent years and years and years producing. It's very disheartening when you lose everything that you've worked so hard for years making, and it just goes poofed by something out of your control with no way of getting any of it back. I mean, I find that kind of illegal, if you ask me. I think you at least should be able to download your stuff back. Because I had some sentimental videos that wasn't public on that channel. I had put them there for safekeepings. Yep, Gherkin, you could say that. I was robbed, basically, yeah. Anyway, how's everyone today? Man, it is hot here. Is it hot up there, Charlie, where you're at?
No, it's only 79, almost 80 here.
Oh, I'll
But the
trade
humidity
you.
is about 90%. When I got up this morning, it was 99%.
Well, it was so foggy here this morning that you couldn't see your hand in front of your face outside.
But I do have my AC working again,
Oh, good. It is
temporarily, at least anyway.
92 degrees here earlier, and it felt like 104. And you just walk outside. I mean, just standing outside, you just drenched in sweat. I don't ever remember going outside and just standing like that and being drenched in sweat like you do nowadays. I mean, the sun is different. It's not the same sun that I grew up with. back in the 90s and early
A lot
2000s.
of people say they've noticed a change in the color of the sun
Yep.
too.
And as we go on into this thing, the sun will become blue looking. And if you actually take a good look at it, it's starting to become blue. But it'll become a kind of a light hued of a blue color. It's not actually the sun changing. It's the way the solar rays are interacting with our atmosphere. That's doing that. Let's see here. Another thing that you can do retro on your like big stuff, you can put what they call ferrets on them. They're a magnet that you put around your electric line, and they stop the surge. You you probably know what I'm talking about, Charlie. The ferrets.
I think so.
They're just a magnet that you put around your cables. If you've got a solar system, y'all, they're cheap. I would highly recommend you getting some. I'll show you a second. Let me finish breaking this two beans I've got in my hand here. I'm sitting here
I'm
doing
just looking at the
this.
radar now. I'm fixing to get some big storms.
Well, I had to cool stuff off for you a little bit.
Well, it's not the temperature, it's the humidity is the
Yeah,
problem.
this is gonna
There
make
is a
it.
tornado warning in central Kentucky, just east of Lexington.
Which way is it moving?
It is moving southeast.
That should miss me though.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to get down. It's going to head toward Jackson and Hazard.
Yeah. All right, I got that done. What I'm going to show you here is the ferrets. Let me go to Amazon just a minute. I'll pop this out in a second. So I don't know if it's going to show any personal stuff when I pop over here.
If anyone was concerned about that tornado warning, it is National Weather Service in Jackson, Kentucky has issued a tornado warning for northwestern Powell and east central Kentucky, south central Montgomery County, and east central Kentucky until 7 p.m. At 6:35 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located over Verdon or near Stanton, moving southeast at 15 miles per hour. That's the only nadir warning that's out there right now.
Okay, here's your ferrets. What I'm talking about. They're just a magnet. These are actually ones here that's you have to actually run your cable through it. It's not showing what it's, but it's to put your wire through. What I'm looking for here.
Algris Narcan, 101 degrees in Tulsa. That's really getting up there.
Ferret magnets. Let me get that right here. See, they're see, I'm not seeing here. There's the Russians jamming here. Here. I'm going to have to mute this. That gun them Russians. They always mess everything up for you, don't they? They're stupid jammers. Over horizon radar. These are the ferrets that I'm talking about here, folks. These right here just clamp around your wire. See? There's your wire. And you just clamp them around it. They've got a magnet. What it does, it enhances the electromagnetic field around the coal. And it resists big...
A pulse.
Yeah, pulses. They're for electromagnetic interference, EMI suppression, and various electronic devices such as cables, USB cables, blah, 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 blah. That you can put a bunch of them on it. You just don't have to have, you can do more than one. The more of it better.
Yeah, you guys, if you've seen these on a lot of your stuff that you plug into the wall and a lot of your devices and chargers and stuff, you've seen those little black knobby things that are on there. That's what those are.
Yep. So this guy's got a bunch of them here on his CB antenna, CB mic. And that would help for the mic too. This guy's got a bunch of them here. Use one on my trunk and have no interference. They
don't do any good for lightning suppression, though.
No. But they're better than nothing. They're
absolutely
for an EMP. And
yeah,
also,
I have lightning suppressors on all my antennas.
Yeah, I have got what they call a you've seen it, my little breaker box with my solar panels in. It's a RMFG breaker. It's for big voltage surges. It's a big surge breaker is what it is.
Ferrite magnets.
It's basically lightning protection. And these surges, overcurrent, would really help. Lightning protection, you can see it right there. 20 kA. So that would really, really help during EMP. It would kick that.
If you own a modern vehicle, though, you can just forget it these days.
I'm talking about solar here.
Oh, okay.
How to potentially make your system be able to survive it. You want this RGMFs or whatever, RMFG breakers. They're a lightning surge breaker that goes on your wires coming in from your panels outside into your little box that distributes them into one wire going in. And what I've got actually is, I've just has installed it. I've got one of these right here that you see on screen, and a 100 amp version, and I have it installed going to the batteries out of the charge controller. So my batteries are protected double. The charge controller is protected from backfeed or in-feed positions. You can't have enough fail-safes on stuff. This stuff's cheap, $23 for a 32 amp. There's you a 50 amper for $22 too. Surprised they don't have the 63 amp. I love these little, forget what they name these. They're mini breakers. Check this out. This would be really neat to have on your things. It's just $20. It's an adjustable voltage protector, low high voltage cutoff, and overcurrent protection. I might have to get me one of these.
Hey, Grace Vaughn, good to see you here. Thanks for coming.
that actually would really, really help. Because that there is the key that you need. You need something that will go instantly and cut it off. And this would do that. Now, how many milliseconds? It doesn't say. So, say I want it to put in 63 amps, and I don't want it to go over this voltage. And if it does go over this voltage or this amperage, it automatically just shuts the system down instantly. Yeah, I want to look into these. Definitely. They're cheap. So here's kind of what I've got going on. Here's your panels. This goes into a DC circuit breaker, into one of these systems. I got one of these almost like this right here. And that takes all my strings and brings into one. And then it comes out of here and goes into my inverter. And then it comes out of my inverter into one of these breakers, just like it's showing right here, into my batteries. But yeah, I definitely want to check into these surge. Definitely. So here's arresters. But you can protect your stuff and not have to go buy these huge, ridiculously priced EMP devices. If you take 4 or 5 overlays of what I've showed you here with these ferrets and RMF whatever surge protectors, and then you got this voltage protector here. If it pops above a certain level, it shuts it completely off. You can stack this stuff together, and you've got a lot of protection. But anyway, let's get back to what we was originally talking about. Let's get to some news. You want to read that what I sent you there, that PBS thing, Charlie?
Yeah, hang on, let me get back to it.
They're reportedly cut off access with agreements expired in March. It's Iron Mountain is the name of this data storage. They've seen.
PBS sues data center after losing access to the 50 terabyte archive. Is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah.
It had 70 years of TV history stored in it.
Mm-hmm.
9 PBS, the TV's anchors, the TV network's anchor, the St. Louis affiliate, filed a lawsuit against Iron Mountain Data Center on July 28th. The station claims its files became trapped in legal limbo after its cloud storage provider, Open Source Storage, apparently went out of business.
I have had a mason jar blow apart. Interesting. I'll have to dump. God, I'll have to dump them beans
The
out.
archive, that's interesting. The archive contains coverage of the Great Flood of 1993, the pandemic, and the history of East St. Louis.
Mm-hmm. It's all going to be deleted.
What's up? What?
See you, Michael. Stay safe, brother. Talk to you later. God bless you.
Be up at Iron Mountain. It just goes right back to the thing, to how stupid we do stuff anymore, folks. That could have been saved and dealt with on a on-site hard drive.
A small one.
Yeah. And here they outsource it. It's untold how much they have paid to have this data stored. And now,
if we had an EMP, all those data centers, man,
yeah,
they're going to
gone.
be toast.
Yep. Yep. I'm sure they've got protection on them, Charlie.
I don't know. That's a lot of stuff to protect.
I'm sure they're
I mean,
putting
you
protection
can't.
on this
I
stuff.
mean, you can't put that stuff in any kind of a Faraday system. It's just too
if you
big.
build the whole building as a Faraday,
That'd be really difficult, I think, to have a whole building like that. Because all it takes is a little leak for it to get in.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if they ain't doing something like that. And I hate that I've lost a whole quart of beans, folks. I'm having trouble here recently. These mason jars that I've bought, the lids ain't doing right on them. It's blew the whole thing off the top of it, band and all. They're not sealing right. That's a whole quart of beans poofed gone. It's too much work for them to be blowing apart like this. I've noticed here, this set of mason jars that I just bought, the screw bands are a lot lighter gauge stuff. They're not as heavy.
Well, you said they were gassy anyway, so
Yeah. But these bands are not as heavy as the bands that was coming on these things. They've switched to a lighter gauge material. And they're having problems. This is like the third or fourth one that this has done to me. And I'm also having some problems. I've had to switch to the wide mouth jars because I was having severe problems with getting the narrow mouth jars to seal. I'm not tightening them down too tight. I take them and just snug them down and put them in here. You're not supposed to tighten them down. You just basically just take your palm, put on it, and until the jar turns, just snug them down. I don't understand what's going on with this. But go ahead there, Charlie. Sorry I interrupted you.
Oh, that's okay. I already clicked off of it now. I read stuff I think you wanted.
I hate to hear that about
centers.
all that stuff. We could be getting ready to lose a massive amount of television history.
All kinds of history.
All because of an idiotic storage attempt. Amazing, if you ask me. It's just amazing that we would do this. Okay, let's see here. 70 years of television history. Oh, I find this interesting. You know how the Russians made a deal with the Taliban and moved in over there? And we left. You remember that, Charlie?
Mm-hmm.
The Taliban, for the first time, has invited the U.S. back into Afghanistan. Their foreign ministry claimed the U.S. could reopen their embassy and start to economically invest in the country for exchange for minerals and resources. Gray, it's whatever that's coming on them.
Oh,
I
wow.
mean, it's not the Ball brand jars. It's the Walmart brand, the Manstays or whatever. They're like $6 or $7 cheaper a dozen.
I just watched a story about Ball brand mason
Yeah.
jars, and interesting that all of those, the old ones are kind of that blue-green color.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, that's because they were all made with sand that came from sand dunes in northern Indiana up on Lake Michigan.
Yep.
That's how they got that color.
We just had a big 5.4 earthquake in the Palau region, Palau. It's over there next to the Philippines, and we've just had a 4.6 earthquake just off the shore of Guatemala.
Here's some bad news. The Ebola outbreak in the Democratic Republic of the Congo is totally out of control, according to local health officials, as the worst projections are now becoming reality. The World Health Organization officials estimate that at least one death occurs every 30 minutes because of the virus.
Yeah, and it's been covered up. Here, I'm going to send you some news about Taiwan. China is very heated over Taiwan's ongoing Hong Kong 42 exercises.
Wake up! China cries war panic over Taiwan drills. Beijing has fiercely criticized Taiwan's ongoing Hong Kong 42 exercise. That's not Hong Kong, it's Han Kang 42 exercises, claiming they sow fear among the public. At the same time, it should be remembered that there is no reason why Taiwan has conducted the exercises, given the gray zone warfare that China is continuously conducting against Taiwan. The two sides are locked in a dangerous spiral. China treats every Taiwanese military move as proof of a push toward formal independence, then escalates its gray zone tactics, promoting still more Taiwanese exercises. This path looks ominous. The Chinese blockade of Taiwan within the next 12 months is a
Yep.
realistic prospect.
Me and Lee was saying 2027. They wasn't going to do nothing until 2027. And our timeline looks to be correct. Yeah, Gray Fawn, I thought about maybe going and buying a 12-pack of Ball brand bands and start using them bands and then switching them back over to the other bands that comes with the jars after I get done. But yep, 2027 is when this will kick off. It's just 4 months from now, folks. And you got to remember, there's 2 times a year that straight is calm enough to do an invasion. One time is in the spring, and one time is in the fall. So, spring of 2027. Watch and see. But it's they're not going to just invade Taiwan. Taiwan's going to be the prize. And if you start looking what's going on with Japan right now and the rhetoric that Russia and China is stirring up with Japan, go and study that. And then come back to me on a decision that you have made.
It'll be Philippines, Japan, Marianas Islands, all of those island
Yep.
chains all the way down into the Philippines and below.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe
And,
down into even Borneo.
and here we was wanting to open up a big rare earth mine on an island over there. You hear me talking about that?
Mm-hmm.
Just you can't do this stuff. We've had a 3.9 earthquake, Mount Etna in Silsby, India. It has caused damage to the Maravine Road in Langosla. Since the hypocenter was just located 1 kilometer deep, it's rippled the road here, raised it up, made a giant speed bump. It's raised the ground up. I'll give you all a link. Check this
Retro,
out.
you just said that the Israeli Air Force is currently conducting large-scale airstrikes at the Al Tahrir Ridge in southern Lebanon near Nabatea. That's interesting because I was just looking at a recap of the last 18 hours over on Rerum Nevarim. On June 2nd, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps warned Israel that if it were to ever bomb Beirut, Lebanon, they would carry out retaliatory strikes on Tel Aviv in response. So I wonder if the IRGC is really going to do it.
We just had a interesting earthquake in Montana. A 1.0 in western Montana. Kind of interesting. Unusual, should I say. Oh, did you see the big fireball in the sky over Idaho and Oregon?
I did see that. That was really awesome, man.
These are becoming very, very, very common.
That was part of the Perseids, I think.
Mm-hmm.
The Perseid meteor shower.
You remember us digging into all them fireballs we was seeing?
I remember that. Whatever happened with all that stuff?
They're still doing it. They're still. Here's another one right here.
You got that link?
Do you remember me telling you all that later in this year that we was going to be, because of the sun's magnetic fields changing, that it was going to start pulling stuff towards us? Remember me talking about that a long time ago? Well, we're now seeing that.
I'm looking for that link to that video of that big fireball. You got it handy?
I've got it right here.
Yeah, why don't you post that for folks to see? That was really amazing.
Here you go, folks. There's your link to it. Of course, this video is from Russia RT Media, but it's a video and it's factual, so.
You catching on to this. Database for the go.
That nadir warning that was east of Lexington, folks, they've allowed that warning to expire, but based on what I'm looking at on the radar, there's still a lot of rotation in that particular storm cell. So if you live anywhere between Lexington and Pikeville, I'd be very weather aware today.
Now, there is a mother of a sailor on the USS Tripoli speaking out about conditions on the USS Tripoli. So the USS Tripoli looks to be having issues as well as the Boxer and the Lincoln. Oh, we had a ship, folks, that was stranded for 4 days over there next to the East China Sea because the engine blew up in it. Um, U.S. ship. Let's see here. Also, according to family members and service members of on the USS Boxer, they have ran out of feminine hygiene products, and no packages are arriving that the families are sending. U.S. destroyer, the USS Benfold, was adrift and without power for 4 days in the South China Sea. Check this out, Charlie. I'm sending you a link to it. This is from USNI News, the U.S. Naval Institute, August 14th. Arleigh Burke-class guided missile destroyer,
Adrift?
USS Benfold, conducts.
Benfold.
It spent
4
4 days in the South China Sea without power after an engineering failure. The Benfold suffered engineering casualties resulting in the loss of power last month. While conducting routine operations in the Pacific, the U.S. Benfold reportedly it's an engine casualty. The engine quit. It involving its generators, causing loss of power. No energy into the crew. So yeah. It The George Washington Carrier Strike Group supported the destroyer, according to the 7th Fleet USS Robert Smalls. The cruiser attached to the George Washington Carrier Strike Group helped provide meals for the crew. It arrived in the Subic Bay and was met by personnel from the ship repair facility in Japan.
Ah, it's getting dark out here, man. I'm getting ready to have some big storms.
So yeah, it was stalled. So how many ships now are we down? Or going to be down? I know the Lincoln's going to come back and have to be put into extended repairs. But which one was it that just came back and now is in extended repairs? That aircraft carrier, the one
Was
that
it
caught
the
on fire.
Ford?
I think
Ford or
yeah, it was a
Washington?
Ford. There's some other ones that's having major issues, just like this one. It's now in repair. Um, I'm on uh about a what about a dozen now? Are we're around a dozen that's in repair? I know some of them was scheduled maintenance, but it's a bunch. Tennessee, what are you going on about, sir?
I don't know what he was talking about.
Fear mongering nonsense. Europe is so terrified of Russia they make up this. Well, you need to get your head out of your sand. You don't come in here like this.
I don't think I've seen him in here before.
No, troll. Yes, out of trolling. Do 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 do.
You know, we've already been live for an hour and a half.
Facts don't care. Well, facts don't care about your feelings either, sir. Go over and look what's going on around the Baltic area. Don't come in here saying that I'm fear porn. Go and look at the buildup in these areas. Go and look what Russia is doing in these areas. They have covered all of their stuff in Kaliningrad with anti-drone nets. They're moving more naval power into the Baltics. The Danish has sent a whole mechanized brigade to Latvia. They're rebuilding or remodeling. Not rebuilding, they're building new bases or remodeling 94 bases along the border with NATO, Russia is. They are moving tactical nuclear weapons into some of these bases. Putin has even came out and said that he's going to go after Moldova to try to collapse NATO and the European Union from within. That was his goal for this year, was a land bridge to Moldova. They're over there right now starting rhetoric with Japan. Even the U.S. intelligence is now screaming to the top of their lungs that Russia is going to invade the Baltics. I have been saying that Russia was going to invade the Baltics for 5 or 6 years now. The writing is on the wall, and I'm sorry for people that can't see it.
I don't know Tennessee easy. You know, I can tell you this honestly. Um, you're definitely not talking to a liberal communist group here.
No.
No, sir.
I agree. The cowardly Europeans have done nothing. Well, there's a lot of bigger problem. It's just not Europe's problem if Russia invades the Baltics. It's a U.S. problem too, because that's a major artery over there, just like the Hormuz Strait is, the Bab and Madrid Strait. That's a massive artery for trade. See, Russia has to have the Baltics because the Bay of St. Petersburg is going to freeze solid.
Well, I'll
Because,
agree with that statement, Tennessee easy.
well, a lot of it is. If we don't have these areas, these critical arteries for trade, our economy won't make it. We've got to have these areas for the U.S. economy.
And if it's not the U.S., who do you think gets blamed for a lot of stuff these days? Israel, of course.
Yeah. But it's vital to our economy to have these areas open and operating. It's just there. A lot of people looks at it like, oh, Europe's going to offload this on us because it's Europe's problem. Well, it is Europe's problem, but we also have a foot in this problem too.
I don't know about Europe
Oh,
there, Tennessee,
okay. You're sick of
but
your tax
definitely,
dollars funding Ukraine.
I definitely would want to support Ukraine, Tennessee. I don't know about Europe, but definitely I would want to
Ukraine
help out Ukraine.
is the main resistance between Russia and the West right now. And all of this stuff we have sent Ukraine. Do you know that we was going to actually have to pay to have this stuff disposed of? So we're really not out nothing if you look at it in the way of that. Um, we was going to
I
have
do
to,
agree with some of your sentiment there, though, Tennessee.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
Europe has definitely become way too liberal for my
Mm-hmm.
taste.
Europe does need to step up, and Europe is stepping up. But what we have sent Ukraine, it's just a drop in the bucket. Our trade deficit is bigger last month than what we supplied Ukraine with. It's pocket change. It's little pocket change. And I think that our tax dollar, I am very pleased with what we have cost us. No, 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 no. You've got that all wrong. Europe is not using Ukraine as a proxy. Who started this war, Charlie? Who started this?
Well, we know
Russia.
it was Mr. Putin.
Russia's little green men came across that border. It's not Ukraine one that it's not a proxy. Russia is the one that started this. And yeah,
And
and
I do
Hezbollah
agree that
started this in
Ukraine was
Israel.
just filled with corruption. I do agree with that.
It used to
But
be.
it didn't. They had no business invading Ukraine, in my opinion. Just my opinion.
Ukraine has really, 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 really cracked down and worked out all that corruption over there.
I hope so.
Oh, yeah, they have. Go look at the reports lately. And we even done a big audit. The Congress even done a big audit into this money and found out that everything is up and up. And we didn't send them money. We sent Ukraine overpriced, we figured it overpriced, old, dilapidated equipment and old ammunition that we was going to have to pay to get rid of. Ukraine has never bombed their own country, Tennessee. Russia.
I don't know, Tennessee. I'll have to check into that. 2010. I'll do some
That's
research on that.
when the Russians came over into Donbass, and if you actually go back and look through all of them reports, the Russians was doing that to themselves over there. Oh, I know. I've been with this war since 2009, 2010, when it started. The little green men came over in Crimea in 2014. Took it over. And not everything you read on Google is correct. Ukraine's never bombed their own regions. Unless they are bombing the enemy.
Well, I'll just read what pulled up here, Tennessee. I did what you said, and this is AI, so take it with a grain of salt. It's AI, but it says no, Ukraine did not bomb Donbass in 2010. The armed conflict with military bombings in the Donbass region did not begin until 2014, following Russia's annexation of Crimea. Remember that. and the rise of Russian-backed separatist movements in western Ukraine. In 2010, the Donbass region was entirely at peace and under the undisputed normal administration of the Ukrainian government.
Well, they was some stuff going on over there in 2010, and it was the Russians that was doing it. It was some false flag operations. How do you know, buddy? Buddy. Because
Like I said, that was
I
AI,
have
so I don't know.
affiliations with people that has been on the ground over there. One of my close friends of this channel, Russia actually tried to blow him up in a hotel over there.
Tennessee, do you ever listen to a guy named Chuck Holton? Holton, I think it's spelled. You should listen to some of his stuff about what was going on in Ukraine. He's, I think he was an Army Ranger, retired and became a war zone journalist. He's pretty good. Check him out on some of this stuff.
Also, you might want to go and look what Putin done inside of Russia too around 2010 to its own people. By the way, all of them buildings that was actually blew up. You know what I mean? You know what I mean, Charlie.
Mm-hmm.
False flag operations.
Oh, I agree, Tennessee. They were very, very corrupt. Absolutely.
Oh yeah, they was. We're not saying that Ukraine wasn't corrupt, but now Zelensky has really fixed that issue over there. Go and look. Go do you a quick Google search on how many crackdowns and how many arrests that Zelensky has made and his team. They've got an entire branch dedicated for anti-corruption.
I don't think Ukraine will ever be a part of NATO either, honestly. At least I didn't think so.
Local and appellate courts has convicted 2,300 individuals on corruption-related offenses in a single recent baseline year in Ukraine. The Specialized Anti-Corruption Prosecutor Office has collectively investigated and charged over 1,400 individuals and initiated hundreds of distinct high-level corruption cases. They've got Zelensky created the National Anti-Corruption Bureau. But they've really weeded all this stuff out. Well, it kind of is America's problem too if Russia invades Europe. Go back and take a little dive through history here about the last time we had to go over there and save Europe, and the time before that. We do too much trade. We do too much with Europe. Europe is a critical lifeline to the United States. We have to have Europe to survive as a country. If we don't have Europe, our entire economy, our entire way of life over here disappears. We have to have it. It's critical to our survival.
Well, Tennessee, I'm definitely an American freethinker too. I'm a veteran of the armed forces, and I love my country.
Yeah, definitely Russia is having trouble fighting Ukraine. Well, if Ukraine doesn't get the air defense weapons that they need dearly right now, oh, if Ukraine falls tomorrow, it definitely will affect us. Because Putin will take everything that Ukraine has and he will take and turn it on Europe. He wants East Germany back. And he's going to do it at all costs. He's going to try. He's going to try at all costs. He will fail, though. What we're seeing with the Baltics right now is Putin's last big hurrah. He don't want to admit that he has been defeated by Ukraine. For political reasons, he has to say that he was defeated by NATO. So he's going to attack NATO and try to take the Baltics. Now, the Baltics is a totally different animal than Ukraine. Totally different animal. The Baltics have a small route for resupply. Small route. What is it, Russia? It's what, 40 miles? The gap? Or 30? Charlie.
I'm sorry, my headphones were off
What,
for a minute.
what
What'd you say?
was that? How wide is the gap? About 30 miles, 40?
Yeah, the Milwaukee Gap's about 25 or 30 miles, I think, wide, and what is it, about 60 miles long? 70?
No, it's about 30 miles wide
Yeah,
between
that's why I said
Kaliningrad
wide, but
and
it's about
Belarus.
60 or 70 miles long.
Between Kaliningrad and Belarus is about 30 miles.
Okay, so
Russia,
it's 30 miles long, not wide.
yeah, Russia can take that in a very quick time. NATO don't have much. Yes, we've got rapid deployable forces, but there is not much assets in that little area. And if that little area is cut off, the Baltics lose their way of reinforcements, their way of resupply. It's a totally different animal than Ukraine. So Ukraine's got the entire eastern side up here that they can resupply for. The Baltics don't. And you're not going to take a ship and try to take it into port over there because Russia will just take it out with drones within minutes.
Yeah, I was going to say, Tennessee, yes, Russia is having a lot of trouble fighting Ukraine. And I think primarily the reason for that is because the rise of drone warfare. And Ukraine
Yep.
has really stepped up
Well,
and using drone warfare.
Russia is getting ready. They're doing testing right now of jet-powered drones. I talked about a little bit this yesterday.
And these jet-powered drones that Russia's going to start using exceed speeds at 600 kilometers an hour. And that's basically going to be able to go through every defense that Ukraine has. And also, Russia has started using loitering drones that sit and wait for vehicles to move through. Yep,
I'll agree with your last statement there,
I will agree
Tennessee.
with that. But a lot of
And
problem is not,
they've been flat-footed for quite a while.
well, a lot of
And
it's not,
I'm really disappointed with NATO.
a lot of it's not they're expecting America. A lot of it was political from within, from Russia-backed governments over there, like Hungary, that kept on blocking all of this stuff that NATO was trying to do. And what is Serbia is another one, Charlie?
I don't know. I'd have to look at a map
But there
right
was a
now.
few over there. But it was Russia was using them presidents or leaders of them countries to block what NATO was trying to do. That's a lot of NATO's issues. Hang on a second, I have to step outside.
And
So,
Poland has really been stepping up their fortifications too.
yes. But that was a lot of the issue over there was Russian puppet governments blocking all this stuff. There's a lot of the countries over there has been pushing forever to build up. And like Poland finally said, forget it. We're just going to do it on our own. But it's not the entire NATO fault.
Well, thank you, Tennessee. I appreciate that. We give everybody a fair shake here, man. I mean, everyone's got opinions.
I love a good,
a good
I
debate.
love a good,
Absolutely.
what you call it? I love a good exchange of information, should I say?
And yes, you're right, Tennessee. There are a lot of channels that discuss stuff like this. And if you don't cater to what the owner wants to say, they'll just ban you immediately. And I agree, that's not right.
It's not.
I've been to those channels before too.
But I'm not saying that you did though. I'm just saying a lot of people come into these channels and start demanding and start being very what's the word I'm looking for? Offensive. Now, in first couple posts, I thought that this was what we was going to go down this aisle of, being offensive and demanding, and not being able to come to a mutual agreement on stuff.
And even if you don't come to an agreement, that's okay too.
Mm-hmm. But like I
Nothing
said,
wrong with agreeing to disagree,
Yep. A lot of people like to come in here on these channels and try to fight with and start fights in here. We don't like that. Now, a good discussion is what we like. And also, thank you. Welcome aboard. We also have a massive Discord
Absolutely,
channel.
great fun. Just be respectful of
Exactly.
everyone. That's all we care about.
We have a massive Discord. Got almost 100 channels over there. Text, talk, and chat. Go over on that link in the bottom chat. Sign up. Get involved. $5 a month. Once you become a member on Coffee Club, you'll find the link to the post tab, the link to Discord in the post tab. Now, we had a month or two ago here, now, we had a big channel. Almost 8,000 subscribers. We had been as high as almost 20. And I woke up to do news
one morning and our channel was gone. YouTube zapped us for absolutely no reason. Now, 34 people in here, that's low from what we used to hold. So we're trying to scrape up and get going in here. And this was one of my only sources of income because of my problems with my joints. I've got the alpha-gal syndrome from a tick bite. And I had it so long and nobody could figure out what was going on, but it has destroyed my joints, my ankles, my toe. I'm going to have here within a couple of years ankle replacements. I have to go in and put plates and permanently put my big toe into one position. So, yep, go over and sign up. Welcome aboard. I think everybody loves our Discord, man. There's so much information that goes through there a day.
No problem,
No.
Tennessee. No
Well,
problem,
we
buddy.
don't really have a. Oh, you do you? You also got it. You know what I'm talking about then. I didn't take on the sickness side of it. I took on the inflammation side. See, I can still eat meat to this day. It doesn't make me sick. It just inflames me. So because of that, I wasn't presenting typical alpha-gal symptoms, and it's just destroyed my joints.
Hey, Tennessee, just so you know, because you probably don't know this, uh, we try to do what we call a news at noon update or whatever, pretty much almost every day, except for like Wednesdays and Saturdays. Usually, we have we come on live at noon and kind of give an update of the news and stuff. So come join us at noonish.
It's around noonish. Sometimes it's
Around noon.
later.
Yeah.
It depends on how good I can sleep at night. But yeah,
We're always interested in folks that know what they're talking about a little bit, and you seem to be that kind of person. You've done some reading about stuff, and we enjoy having people come in and debate with us like that.
Now,
We don't have all the answers to everything, but um, just like you, we'll look it up, see what we can find.
No,
And
we
don't
don't
worry if
really
you don't
have.
agree with everything we say. We aren't going to ban you just because you disagree with us. Don't worry about that.
We really don't have a political side here. I'm in the middle. I call out both sides of the aisle. Some people distinguish that as I'm liberal, but I'm not.
Oh,
There's
heavens no, I'm not either.
there's a lot of stuff that this administration is doing that is just totally just craziness. Now we call that out. And we go in and I go in and vent everything. If Trump will make a public statement today, I'll go in and tell you, hey, look, he's lying here, he's lying here, he's lying here. I did the same thing with Biden. I'll do the same thing with the next president. If it's left, right, liberal, in the middle, whatever. So, yeah, I don't break out. I just become severely, severely, severely inflamed. Well, it's destroyed my knees so bad now that I was sitting down here in bed breaking beans last night. I can't even sit cross-legged or kind of to the side with my knees bent without
Hey,
my knees
X86.
swelling up.
Welcome in. X86. Welcome.
I can't stand on concrete for no longer than about 15 minutes.
Hey, we've been
It's 2 hours. Yeah.
about 2 hours. Miss P's getting dinner ready for me, but I have to put this shameless plug in here, dear Max. Tennessee, I don't know if you're a Christian or not, but we also have a live Sunday sermon every Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if
Mm,
you can't make it to church in person or whatever, come join us for our Sunday sermons on
yep.
here on this channel,
I will
5 p.m.
say, Tennessee, I voted for the man 3 times. I really liked his first term. He done a lot of good things. But this term right now, I don't know of what he's got. If he's got dementia or what. But he's just totally off the wall. We're over here in La La Land at hole 10 on a golf course that is made up in somebody's dreams. If that makes any sense, what I'm trying to say. Now, what I'm fixing to tell you right here is it just mind boggles me. Saudi Arabia, UAE, Qatar, Kuwait, and Bahrain have completely lost trust and faith in the Trump administration. No, he is not, Tennessee. I agree. He is not doing a thing that he ran on. But they've lost faith in the Trump administration.
Yeah, he ran on no new wars.
Yep. And now,
But I
can
understand.
I finish
I
this up a
mean,
minute,
don't
Charlie,
get me
before we
wrong. I
change
understand
topics?
the world changes,
Yep.
So, if you run on a policy, that's one thing.
Yep.
The world changes and you might have to go
Yep.
back on some of that stuff. I get it.
Let me finish this up for a second right here. And are now united in aggravation with the administration due to a lack of strategy and constant walking back from threats, with some thinking about canceling the hosting of large U.S. bases. As a Gulf official says, Trump started this war and we are paying the price. With anger now at its highest point of the entire war, Gulf states feel unnecessarily entangled in a war Trump is trapped in and unable to resolve, with Trump's Iran policy described as erratic and unpredictable. U.S. conduct in the region making them less safe, not more safe, and the U.S.-Iran MOU described as a joke by these Middle Eastern countries. Severe U.S. interceptor shortages have compounded the anger, with Gulf states being afraid of an Iranian attack and concerned that the U.S. can't protect them anymore. We've had to, our U.S. Fifth Fleet headquarters are completely gone. We've had to move our Fifth Fleet headquarters to Garcia.
Diego Garcia.
Diego Garcia, 2,200 miles away. And that's why what is going on with our ships right now is going on. Because we're unable to get resupply in a timely manner to the ships. There is families of USS Boxer that is shipping packages over there. They're out of feminine hygiene products on the Boxer. These families are sending them stuff, and the packages are not arriving. They're not showing up. There has been a total breakdown in our supply lines, looks like. And these extended deployments of these ships is ridiculous. No, we can't. We'll have to have them being too big bag wolf over there so we can keep selling weapons to the Middle East. Yeah, it is impossible for us without putting 500,000 troops on the ground to do anything with Iran. They have built this stuff too deep in the ground. They've got too much of it. These tunnels that we're hitting, they're having them dug out and perfectly fixed back within 12 hours. China, we've got Chinese Y-20 that's their version of their C-17s that they've almost copied down to the nut and bolt, flying into Iran with supplies. They've sent them, or are sending them, 400 man-pad systems. I think that number is way higher than 400, but we'll see. Ukraine has been hitting ships that has been in the Caspian Sea that is going back and forth to Russia and Iran. Yep, it's extremely hard. It's 100 times worse than Afghanistan. Heck, Afghanistan, the Taliban is wanting us to come back now. They're offering us access to their minerals for us to come back because they have found out that you can't trust the Russians. Wife
Well,
of
I got a
U.S.
bail.
service. All right, we'll see you later, Charlie. I appreciate you for
Okay.
coming on.
Yep.
I'm on
Yep.
the.
Don't forget, guys, tomorrow, Sunday sermon, 5
Mhm.
p.m. Eastern. I'll see you guys then, I hope. And y'all have a good day and God bless y'all. Bye bye.
Wife of a U.S. service member on the Lincoln reacts to Trump's statements. She says, I don't think the man thinks before he talks. But she says that we heard Heckstaff and President and Sister saying the families are lying and the service members are lying, even though the proof is right here on my phone. But anyway, it's just weird. Steve Bannon has came out and said that they're working on 5 or 6 different alternatives for how Trump could run again to be president. I continue to say that on the afternoon of January 20, 2029, Trump is going to be president for his 3rd term. I find this fascinating here. The U.S. Navy is considering redesigning the future forecast aircraft carriers to better match President Trump's preference to a World War II era look. World War II era look. The biggest proposed change is moving the carrier's command island farther forward. He's also ordered the Navy to study replacing the electromagnetic aircraft catapults with older steam-powered systems. Navy officials have warned these changes will cost billions, delay construction, and reduce operational efficiency. So it's going to reduce the efficiency of the aircraft carrier by doing this and cost us billions of dollars and also delay construction. But Ford's current island placement was designed to improve aircraft movement and landing safety. And he's wanting to move it forward just because he wants the World War II era look. Well, they're going to have to relieve the Lincoln, Tennessee. They don't really have a choice at this point. They're going to have to relieve it. It's been at sea too long. The cruise has had 1 port stop, I think. And they've been on there for 9 months with 2 days off. They're exhausted. They've had 2 days off in 9 months. They're having to go to the front of the aircraft carrier to even use the toilets. The showers are molded. There's a massive shortage of supplies. But I just really wonder why we're wanting to move back in time. He wants the new fleet of aircraft carriers to look to more resemble those from World War II. Just, I don't know. Yep, it's finally came out that the supply problems, like I said, they're supplied because of Iranian attacks on the Navy base in Bahrain. And we had to move the Navy's Fifth Fleet headquarters to Diego Garcia. As it went up in smoke, so did major logistics hubs, and the Navy has had to rely on for decades. Huh. Putin has lost 43,000 soldiers in one of the worst months since the war has started. So last month, he's lost 43,000 soldiers. Bulldozers have arrived, and contractors are setting up a new construction outpost along the East River Road in Big Bend National Park, where they plan to plow straight through the Hot Springs Canyon to build a border wall. Also, Ukraine got a good hit. They've hit the Progress Rocket and Space Center in Samara, Russia. This is Roscom's high cleanroom facility for onboard electrical and control systems assembly has been destroyed. It's called Building 106A. It's an attempt to prevent Russia from establishing Starlink-type satellite constellations for targeting missiles and drones against Ukraine. Did y'all see where Putin dressed up as a Navy officer in his last little meeting there? Just wild, and all of it's books and papers, and then Ukraine compared it to one of Zelensky's meetings with all these high-tech computers and Zoom calls and this and that, and here they are with pens and papers on a table in a room that looked like it's from the 1950s of the Soviet era. We've got an environmental disaster unfolding off Oman, where a grounded tanker is leaking Russian crude in a protected marine area. It has 1 million barrels of oil on board and has created a massive oil slick 2,000 square kilometers wide. We've got a Chinese national sentenced to 6 months in prison after photographing Whiteman Air Force Base. Authorities says Wu's repeated photograph of Whiteman's Air Force Base infrastructure, including after a warning, distinguished the case from ordinary aircraft photos. I'll give you a link to this. So he's been sentenced to 6 months in prison. Okay, y'all can take this how you want here. Oh, there was also a Chinese person that had been set up at NORAD, I think, that was taking pictures from an abandoned bunker facility overlooking the whole thing. He got caught. And also, we had a Russian trucker that was here illegally just got caught with 800 pounds of METH. And Louisiana is saying it is tied to the Russian mafia. I posted that in my Discord all call channel. But here, this is a statement from a 20-year Navy veteran. What I'm going to do is I'm going to let my reading helper here do this for me, because my throat is getting a little bit tingly. Oh, the diesel crack. The U.S. is having big problems with diesel, folks. The diesel crack spread gets hit $94 a barrel. That's $94 difference between the cost of oil and the diesel. The highest level since 2007. Gasoline is close behind at $50. A barrel of Western crude costs about $81 right now. Refining it into diesel right now earns you $96 on top of it. The margin is worth more than the barrel itself. We're going to see here going into wintertime with our oil inventories so low. And well, where Middle East is in turmoil, well, Europe is having major issues also with diesel. And what's bad is Europe's waterways, rivers are drying up, so they're going to have to spend. They was paying people to marry for citizenship. They're going to have to spend more money, and they're going to have to use more diesel to transport goods in Europe, and an already economy to where they can't really afford to use more diesel. Also, Denmark is really setting up to be the leader of this future war, which is imminent, of the Baltics. I'll give you a link to some articles here in a minute. Let me go in here and get this. I want y'all to listen to this a minute. Now listen, y'all take this with a grain of salt. So take it with a grain of salt. Yes, with the drought conditions and the oil issues, we will see food shortages soon as well, especially on certain foods. You are correct. And we are going to only see this food shortages increase because of this grand solar minimum. Now, we are about 6 years into this. In 2032-ish, give or take a year or two, we're going to start seeing frost in July all the way down in Kentucky. Massive temperature swings. And the new Mandrid fault will go off here within the next few years. It goes off every single time that we go into a grand solar minimum. It goes off in the lead up to the height of it. And when it goes off, it's a big one. And this is going to sever the U.S. arteries, the power, the oil, pipelines, for gas pipelines, for telecommunication system lines, the power infrastructure, the bridges. You won't be able to get from eastern United States to the western United States. All the way up from Detroit all the way down to the Gulf. It will sever it all. But listen to this right here a second. Come on, sir. Can you please read this for me? Are you serious? Let me get rid of some of this stuff that I got up and give you a little extra RAM. Let me refresh you. I don't know why it's acting like this. I really need some upgrades on this computer, but we just can't. We don't have...
As a 20-year Navy veteran who deployed on aircraft carriers in support of combat operations in the Middle East, I know firsthand the strain that every single day puts on our sailors and their families. Donald Trump's comment on USS Lincoln's deployment being, "not nearly long enough," is disgraceful. Our men and women in uniform and our military families deserve better than an unserious commander-in-chief who knows nothing about military service and sacrifice.
Let's see here. Goodness gracious, the state of our ship right here. I don't know what ship this is, but the rust, man. My 80s model Chevrolet has less rust than this thing does, and it's falling apart. I'll give you all a link to this video. Check that out. At the rust. I'm not for sure what. Ship that is. Also, folks, we're getting ready to see major, well, we're already seeing it. We've got major fertilizer shortages too, Tennessee. Major fertilizer. That goes back to what we was talking about earlier about vital waterways. See, we've lost 40% of oil refineries. We've lost all of the supply of fertilizer out of the Middle East. And then we've got a super El Nino, which is going on because of the changes in the jet streams because of the grand solar minimum. We've lost all of our Middle East supply chains. And if the Baltics, we lose the Baltic supply chain too, I don't know what we're going to do. Almost as the global food and fuel shortages wasn't enough. Now we've got fertilizers and everything else on top of it. This is the worst possible time for all this to be happening. Here's your little video on that. Also, Tennessee, you need to go over here and follow us on Rumble. We will be moving to Rumble here very shortly. Go over here, follow us on Rumble. There's Rumble links. That's our 24-hour channel over on Rumble. Yep, because of all the feedstock for the plastics out of the Middle East. That goes back to how vital the Strait of Hormuz is to the U.S. A lot of people don't understand this. I mean, I really haven't done no digging into how much trade that goes through the Baltic Sea. Let's see here. How much U.S. trade goes through the sea? Baltic states. Total U.S. trade with Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, which could be considered minor, is roughly $9 billion a year. Um, it's got a direct ocean-bound container trade with U.S. from Finland and Sweden. Let's see here. Oil and fertilizer. U.S. fertilizer imports from the Baltic region has surged to a record-breaking high. Um, let me. Is there a way to save this to go over here to the other computer? Can I save? Copy. Let me send this to myself a minute. To where I can get to my little helper to read this off. Okay. Let me go over here and get this. Well, let me go over here to Google a minute and let's just pull this up here. What did I type in originally to get this? How much? Let's see here. Okay, now I want to come down. We want to go over to AI. We want to ask it about oil and fert. Oil and fertilizers. Here's the big thing. It's fertilizer. Fertilizer. It's the Baltic Sea is a primary global corridor for agricultural nutrients, especially potash and nitrogen-based fertilizer. U.S. involvement here centers on securing agricultural supplies for American farmers. So if we lose the Baltic corridor on top of the Strait of Hormuz, Bab el Strait, and all these other areas, the Black Sea, um, see, that's not, the AI didn't give me what I wanted here. Even though I asked it the same exact thing that I did over here on this other. But we're gonna let the AI read this off here a minute.
Focusing specifically on oil and fertilizer, U.S. trade involving the Baltic Sea represents a critical, geopolitically charged choke point. While the absolute volume is modest compared to total U.S. global trade,
see, there's a problem with that there when we need to start producing and storing our own fertilizers. Most of our refineries over here are not built to refine the oil that we have. They're built to refine this dirty, heavy crude oil from like Venezuela and the Middle East. And that we're finding out the hard way why you shouldn't do this.
shipping dynamics in this region have shifted dramatically due to recent international sanctions, energy supply shocks, and policy changes. 1. Oil. The U.S. From importer to dominant Baltic supplier. The U.S. has transitioned into the world's largest oil exporter, structurally flipping how crude oil flows through the Baltic Sea. Inward flow of U.S. crude. Following severe maritime trade restrictions and infrastructure damage affecting Russian energy networks, Baltic Sea nations, especially Poland and Finland, have aggressively turned to American energy. U.S. exports of mineral fuels and distillation products to Poland alone surpassed $2.6 billion annually. Tankers cross westward into the Baltic Sea carrying light sweet American crude to keep regional refineries running. Temporary sanction relief for stranded cargoes. Due to unrelated geopolitical crises choking off Middle Eastern routes like the Strait of Hormuz, the U.S. Treasury Department temporarily authorized the targeted purchase of Russian oil stranded at sea. Some of these ships originate from Russian Baltic terminals like Primorsk and Ust-Luga, briefly bringing Russian origin oil back into the broader supply chain. 2. Fertilizer. The battle over potash and supply chains. The Baltic Sea is a primary global corridor for agricultural nutrients, specifically potash and nitrogen-based fertilizers. U.S. involvement here centers on securing agricultural supplies for American farmers while managing intense diplomatic stalemates. The Belarusian potash crisis. Landlocked Belarus is one of the world's largest potash producers. Historically, it exported its crop fertilizers through Lithuania's Baltic port of Klaipėda. When the US and EU enacted strict sanctions on the state-run giant Belaruskali, this trade was entirely halted. To stave off a global agricultural shortage, the U.S. government has pushed Baltic neighbors like Lithuania and Poland to allow a resumption of Belarusian fertilizer transit through Baltic ports. Heavy reliance on Russian sourcing. Despite heavy rhetorical sanctions, the U.S. agricultural sector remains critically dependent on international fertilizer. To insulate American farmers from global price spikes, the U.S. carved out explicit exemptions for fertilizers. The U.S. has continued importing hundreds of millions of dollars worth of Russian fertilizer, a significant portion of which originates or transits through Baltic Sea cargo ports.
Well, there you have it. So we're really relying on the Baltic area now for fertilizer. Yeah, they have, but that's gonna have to change, Tennessee. We're gonna have to start storing this stuff and producing it. Let's just see here. Say the U.S. loses the ball. How bad will that hurt the U.S. fertilizer? Let's see what we say here. Yep, it would heavily destabilize the U.S. fertilizer market. Let's read this out here.
Losing access to the Baltic Sea due to a war would heavily destabilize the U.S. fertilizer market, trigger record-high agricultural production costs.
This is exactly what the BRICS nations want. So this is just a giant, absolutely giant trap that we have walked into in the Middle East. And now Russia is going to come in and attack the Baltics, and this is going to cut the Baltics off. And it's going to heavily destabilize the U.S. fertilizer market. It's going to force a massive reconstruction of global farming supply chains and trigger record high agricultural production cost.
Costs, and force a massive restructuring of global farming supply chains. While the U.S. does not rely on the Baltic Sea for the majority of its overall fertilizer volume, the loss of this gateway is critical.
Well, we do now. So it's saying while the U.S. does not rely, but you go right up in here and what it says right here, the Baltic Sea is now a primary global corridor for potash, nitrogen-based fertilizers. U.S. involvement here centers on securing agricultural supplies for American farmers. And it says right here, it's a critical U.S. geopolitically charged choke point. It's a critical way right now because where we have lost these other areas. We'll probably be off of Uboob, Tennessee, so you need to go and make sure you are over on Rumble.
While the U.S. does not rely on the Baltic Sea for the
But we
majority
do
of its overall fertilizer volume,
nowadays.
the loss of this gateway is critical because of unprecedented shifts in the 2025-2026 global trade environment. The loss would hurt the U.S. domestic supply through specific,
The loss would hurt the U.S. domestic supply through specific cascading channels, severe shock to high volume Russian imports.
Cascading channels. 1. Severe shock to high volume Russian imports. In an ironic twist of recent geopolitical policy, U.S. imports.
Because of what's going on, we are having to buy fertilizer from Russia. We have went over there and we've done temporary sanction relief.
Imports of Russian fertilizer hit all-time record highs in early 2026, topping more than $240 million in single-month purchases.
Record highs.
The cause? When the Trump administration exempted Russian fertilizers from broad international reciprocal tariffs while simultaneously facing disruptions in the Strait of Hormuz, American agricultural buyers heavily expanded their sourcing from Russia. The Baltic bottleneck. A vast majority of Russia's heavy nitrogen and potash exports to the west exit through its primary Baltic Sea terminals like Ust-Luga, St. Petersburg, and Primorsk. A hot war in the region would completely freeze this flow, instantly vaporizing a supply chain that has been keeping U.S. farming costs down. 2. Immediate threat to the shielded domestic agriculture. The U.S. relies on imports for roughly one-third of its total fertilizer consumption, but the vulnerability is unevenly distributed across the three primary types of crop nutrients. Potash (SOP), the U.S. is 90% import dependent. While Canada is the primary source, supplying roughly 85%, Russia and Belarus provide the bulk of the remainder. A war would permanently kill the remaining Euro-Asiatic potash transit out of Baltic ports, choking global supply and driving Canadian potash prices to astronomical premiums. Nitrogen, urea, ammonia. The U.S. imports roughly 13% to 15% of its nitrogen, heavily relying on Russian alternatives produced with cheap natural gas. 3. Cascading global scarcity, the price ripple effect. The damage to the U.S. wouldn't just be about missing ship arrivals, it would be about hyperinflation. Fertilizer is a highly liquid global commodity. Because the concurrent conflict in the Middle East has already choked off nearly 30% of global urea and ammonia trade through the Strait of Hormuz, losing the Baltic Sea removes the world's second major supply hub simultaneously. With both the Baltic Sea and Persian Gulf restricted, global mega exporters like Brazil, India, and the U.S. would be forced into a bidding war over the remaining undisrupted supply chains. Strategic Impact Summary. U.S. Farming costs. Domestic fertilizer prices would spike an estimated 50% to 100% within weeks of a Baltic shutdown, mirroring or exceeding the price shockwaves of 2022. Crop production. High costs would force American corn and wheat farmers to slash application rates, directly threatening domestic crop yields and triggering long-term food inflation. The pivot. The U.S. would be forced to rapidly lean into domestic production expansion and secure exclusive shipping pacts with Canada, Trinidad, and West Africa to keep its agricultural sector functional. If you are mapping out this scenario, let me know if you want to explore how Canada would fill the potash void or how U.S. domestic natural gas production could be diverted to ramp up domestic nitrogen plants.
We need to be diverting domestic natural gas production to ramp up domestic nitrogen plants. We need to be doing that right now. We need to be making potash. A lot of potash is made from coal-fired plants. We need to be doing this stuff, actively doing this, because we are fixing to lose this Baltic corridor. And folks, your food prices are fixing to skyrocket. They're getting ready to skyrocket anyway, because we're out of diesel fuel. Now, I found something kind of interesting here in Australia. Now, this goes back to what me and Charlie, I talk about this a lot, about why don't the air condition companies, see, I've got this air conditioner in my house here. It's a EG4 electronic system. It's a solar deal. Now, the outside unit, you hook about 400-watt panels or so. I don't remember how many I've got on it. Into series, run you 2 wires over and plug them into the unit. It's as simple as that. That unit will kick over and run all day for free. It even runs when it's cloudy. Why are we not doing this? Do you know how much of a load that we could take off of our aging, fragile grid during these massive heat waves by having these solar panels attached to everybody's air conditioner units? It's so simple to do. You throw some panels up on the roof, run you 2 wires down, and click them into the side of a unit. That's it. Done. Over with. No batteries to mess with. No charge controllers to mess with. Just 2 wires and click right into the side of the unit. Now, Australia has slashed wholesale electricity costs by 47% during peak hours by installing all these home solar systems. This government subsidy program has helped over 500,000 households install energy storage systems. I mean, it's 2027, folks. There is no reason whatsoever that we can't be doing this stuff. The reason why it's not being done is because it makes sense. Now, I'm going to show you this unit. EG4 solar. They've even got a solar window unit. EG4 does. Look here. This is a solar window unit. It's highly efficient. 12,000 BTU. It can operate on solar power alone, grid power alone, or a hybrid connection of both. Automatically adjusting to deliver uninterrupted comfort while maximizing energy savings. And what it does, you just plug it in. It's got 2 plugins on it here somewhere. I'm outside, I'm sure. Right there. You see them 2 plugins? Right here where my mouse is? You just plug your solar panels. Click right into it. You plug 1,500 watts, and it can be up to 380 volts. Just plug in. Done. And this thing can run all day for free. See, this would be something good to have in your home. Throw it in a window during the summertime. Plug your panels into it. Don't hook it to the grid or nothing. And when the sun comes up, your house gets cool. It would pay for itself easily in one summer. It would pay for itself. Easily. Let's see here. What we're looking for. We're looking for these come on now. Shop. AG, shop. Let's see here. Inverters, DC, mini splits. I was looking for them, them solar, them window units. But these mini splits right here. Decline, get rid of that. So here's a 36,000 multi-zone mini split, AC/DC, $2,000. It's equivalent to like a 3-ton system. It's got, you can hook up to 4 heads on it. See, when I got mine, they didn't have this option to be able to put multiple heads on a unit. And see them plugins right there? You just plug your solar into them. Now, why are we not doing this on the typical home air conditioner unit and heat unit? It would make so much sense. I love mine. If you all interested in one of these things, check out these EG4 electronic systems. This 36,000 BTU multi-zone right here, you can cool a whole house with it, folks. It's a 22.5 SEER rating, which is extremely efficient. It's efficient. Extremely efficient. They're heat and air too. So they've got these window units. They've got this one. It's solar. You just plug it in. $12,000 BTU. See, I was looking to see if any of it had heat on them. I don't think so. And I don't know why they can't do one that has heat. No, they don't have one that does heat. That's coming though, I'm sure. But these crap. Sorry folks, I dropped something. But these mini splits is the only way to go. There's your 24,000 BTU multi-zone mini split. That's what I've got, but I don't have the multi-zone. Oh, how I wish I had the multi-zone one. But you just plug your solar panels right into the side of it. Y'all can check that out. Here's the heads for them. I don't see the one I've got. They've got these smaller ones. Here's a 9,000 BTU one. It's not a solar, though. You got to watch that. Here, but you got to have the AC/DC. Here's a 12K for $1,300. Comes with a unit. Wait a minute. That is not a solar. This head are not compatible with. Hang on a minute. Some of these you got to watch. I do not see the plugins right there for the solar. Yeah, it says solar input. So it is. It's there. 1,600 watts. But there you go. $1,300. I mean, you can't beat that. That's 12,000 BTU. That'll cool. It says 650, folks. It'll do a lot more than 650 square feet. Trust me. Heat and cool. But that one right there for $1,300, I mean, you can't beat it. So I'm not for sure if this one is. Yeah, this one is not. Not a solar one here. Y'all can check it out though. There's the window unit. There's the one I have, but I don't have the panels with it. I just bought the unit. I didn't buy the panels. There's one. It's a Chinese one though. You could test it and see how it would act. That's cheap for $468. That's just something for you all to check into. But it would be nice if them window solar units had heat. There's something you can check out, Charlie. You're back now. Check this out that I've got on screen. They don't have heat though. It's a solar window unit for $899, 12,000 BTU. It's just air conditioning though. And I'm sure, I bet you could find one. Let's see here.
Huh. That's weird. There's no. You'd have to go with a mini split system. But anyway, I think we're going to end. We're going to end the U boobs, and we're going to move over to the rumbles. I'm about out of what I wanted to cover today, and I've still got some stuff to do, and it is dark outside already. So, yeah. With that, folks, I'm going to end this one. I'm going to give you all the link to the rumbles. Come over here and be migrating over to the rumble world. We really look forward to seeing you over there. There's your 3 links to the rumbles. Get over there. This stuff in the Baltics is really, really heating up. We're going to see a huge increase of threats and action in the Baltics in the coming weeks. Y'all really need to be ready. I mean, Alexander Duggan, which you take this with a grain of sand, said Moscow and St. Petersburg needs to be massively relocated from cities to rural areas, as war between Russia and the West and the use of nuclear weapons are almost inevitable at this point. And this is a big one. I'm going to end off with this one. I want to really take this into consideration here, folks. What you're fixing to hear is massive.
Breaking. Senior Pentagon official Elbridge Colby says the U.S. is currently reviewing the strategy for the specific and potential use of nuclear weapons as part of a nuclear strategy review. U.S. Strategic Command Head Admiral Richard Carell adds the Department of War is looking at ways of expanding options available to Trump and providing the decision space for any conceivable escalation scenario. Carell says this spans from non-kinetic conventional capabilities to, if you would envision, some kind of limited nuclear exchange to high-end escalation, as an escalation maneuver.
Well, there you have it. Right there. Even the Pentagon is going through and reviewing on how they could expand options available for Trump for the use of nuclear devices. Now, I said I was done, but I'm almost done. I want to go on down here for here just a minute. Of course, we know that it was a drone, but that Allied fighter jets shot down over Latvia. Now this is very interesting here. British military leaders are intentionally concerned that a major escalation between the British Navy and Russia could occur around the North Sea and the Channel due to potential misunderstanding. They're saying they're very concerned that a major escalation between the British Navy and Russia could occur around the North Sea. They're straight out telling you what's fixing to happen, folks. Here is pictures of a Danish mechanized platoon that got diverted to Latvia. Now this ship right here, they spent
hours, 6 hours fine combing the Baltic Sea for Russian units above and below the surface before command would let the ship leave the port for transport of military units across the Baltic Sea. Now, folks, when you're having to do this just to move something at what they would consider peacetime right now, we've got big problems. Putin is preparing to close the borders of the Russian Federation to declare mobilization. Russia has called on all BRICS member states to begin joint development and manufacturing of drones. Yeah, you heard that right. Drones. We've got a drone that flew all the way from Romania into Bulgaria the other day and exploded 100 meters inside Bulgarian territory near the compressor station of a Trans-Balkan gas pipeline. And here is the Trans-Balkan gas pipeline. Right in here is where it exploded. Went all the way through Romania into here undetected. And also, North Korea is fixing to send 50,000 more troops to Russia. Now, I had one more thing here that I wanted to... Now, this concerns me. Listen closely.
The Iron Curtain is looming ever larger on the horizon. Russia is stepping up surveillance of where its citizens travel. According to Verstka, Russia's transport ministry plans to expand the amount of data that carriers and ticketing services are required to hand over to the authorities. The rules would cover not only scheduled services but charter flights as well, with both planned and actual travel information to be collected. For air travel, the list is set to include additional data on connections and baggage details. The system would apply both to domestic travel within Russia and trips abroad. Big Brother now wants to know not only where you're flying, but what kind of suitcase you're taking with you.
There you have it. Russia is closing down its escapes for their citizens to leave Russia. They're becoming a North Korea. We've also got explosions in Kyiv. Ukraine was under ballistic missile warnings for a while there. But hopefully what I have talked about in this 3-hour and 23-minute stream has enlightened some of you all. Maybe you have learned something from me. And may you subscribe and learn more. This is not elementary class. This is the master class that you all are seeing. So with that, go to a Rumble link, and I have some videos in store for you all. See you over on Rumble.